Today, I'm gonna go over what it costs to own all the cars behind me and what it actually costs me monthly. So for the Defender, I honestly didn't expect to like this vehicle so much. The main reason I bought it is to get out of a negative equity situation where I had bought two brand new cars back to back within 6-7 months. With that, with putting $0 down, I did rack up about $8,000 of negative equity. So whenever this came in on trade, I knew it'd be the perfect vehicle to buy, fix up, and get out of that negative equity situation. Essentially, this is a 2020 Land Rover Defender P400 SE. So it's got the 3.0 liter turbocharged, supercharged, mild hybrid power plant. Works really good with a great 8-speed automatic transmission. It has tons of power, but aside from that, it's extremely off-road capable. This one did come with the adventure package, the off-road package. It has weight sensing, a bunch of different features, but it doesn't have a locker. Aside from that, we've got the 35 1250 R20 Milestar tires on these stock rims with a 30mm spacer. You can tell just how much I've cut down to actually get the clearance to run these 35s. Right now it's in standard ride height, but it does have the 2-inch lift. It's 2-inch lift rods from Saltec Motorsports. If you guys haven't checked out all of my videos on installing the different parts and pieces on this, be sure to go check it out. It's a lot of really good information. And we did do the intercooler relocation kit because you have to move that intercooler to be able to clear these tires. Now, aside from all that, not too much has been done to this. I did add a spacer, an angled spacer for the spare tire because it couldn't clear without it. But I've really enjoyed this Defender. I bought it obviously pre-owned as a 2020 with 18,000 miles. The actual sales price on this vehicle is somewhere around $55,000. And at the time, the fair market price was in the low 60s. So it was a great opportunity to be able to buy it and get rid of some of that negative equity. After the trade of the 2023 Grand Cherokee Limited, I actually ended up financing right around $66,000. Now, I've had this vehicle almost 6 months and actually owe less than $60,000 on it now. So I am in a good situation to be able to trade. But I financed it long-term on 84 months with a 6% interest rate. Yes, 6%. My credit had only gotten better since the other purchases of the other vehicles, but rates have just really went up that much. But with that being said, my payment ended up being $998 a month, and that was with putting $0 down. So no money out of pocket, and it's honestly not that bad for the times we're in. But if I could have just got a 3% rate on this, the payment would be much less, and it would be a whole lot easier to justify keeping this machine. It's an extremely high payment for just a vehicle to haul the baby back and forth in. Obviously, there are plenty of other vehicles that could do the job just as well, but they just wouldn't be as much fun or look as cool as this does. I've really enjoyed pretty much everything about it so far, and I have no major gripes with it. So until I can find something that I actually like better than this, it's gonna be pretty hard to trade it. Now, to cover my daily, we've got the 2018 1LS Camaro. So what this is basically the basest model of a Camaro you can possibly get with no extra really bells or whistles. It is a 4-cylinder turbo, manual transmission, no heated seats, cloth interior. Like I said, the most basic you can possibly get. So for the Camaro, it's actually a pretty funny story. I didn't plan on buying this vehicle at all, but I took it out whenever I worked at one of my last dealerships and actually totaled it. So what I had done is I basically went around a 90-degree curve with bald tires in the back whenever it was about 20 degrees and did a full 360, slammed into a curb, messed everything up, ripped everything out basically from axle to axle. The airbags on the inside for the seats, the curtain airbags, everything was messed up, blown out. So at the time, the deductible at that dealership was $5,000. So instead of paying the $5,000 deductible for basically nothing, just for insurance, I decided to buy the vehicle and fix it up. It didn't look near as good as it does right now, even before I wrecked it. But I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out, and it's been a great daily driver. I had one of these cars in high school and I really loved it and regretted getting rid of it ever since I did get rid of it. So on this one, inevitably I did fall in love with it, and for its actual use just as a daily driver, it's really hard to beat. It's really fun, it's enjoyable, and it gets good fuel economy, so you really can't beat it for a daily driver. Now here recently I put some 275s all the way around just because I needed new tires, and that gave me the bug to start fixing it up. So after that, I installed the Mishimoto cold air intake, I ordered a new spooler, and you guys are gonna see quite a bit more modifications being added to this extremely soon. But to cover what I actually paid for the The situation was it had got traded in at my dealership. Another manager had put way too much money into it for what it was actually worth at the time. So needless to say, with zero down, I ended up financing right around $26,000. It's a 2018, and at the time it had almost 50,000 miles, 40 something thousand miles. It was definitely not worth that. It was probably worth somewhere around 20. Surprisingly, it didn't take that much to get it back into the shape you see it in today, but it took a lot of time. So whenever I financed that with zero down, I got 3% on that as well for a standard term, and I actually ended up getting it right at $351 a month. So for $351, especially right now with today's rates, there's not really a vehicle I could get for that same payment that would be better than this. I do really enjoy it. Of course, it's just a 4-cylinder Camaro, but with some simple modifications, you can make these a lot of fun. If you guys didn't see the rebuild series, which nobody really watched, whenever I first bought it and put it back together, you should definitely go back on the channel and check it out. And if you want to see all the parts and pieces and performance modifications I'm about to add to this thing, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. And now for my absolute favorite vehicle I've ever owned, that is the Jeep Rubicon 392. Now, ever since the cold weather's moved in, if I don't drive this thing for more than a week, the battery completely dies. It did this last year too, so it's time for me to go ahead and get a new battery. But for now, we'll have to go ahead and jump it off. So to start on this Jeep Wrangler, this was actually the first Rubicon 392 ever ordered. And if you guys have been following the channel for long enough, you guys have seen so many different variations of this machine over the last couple of years. But right now it is on 38 by 1550s, the Mickey Thompson Baja Boss tires, and the 20 by 12 -44 offset XDA60 wheels. It is still currently on stock suspension. We have a bunch of metal cloak armor for the front and the rear fenders, as well as the metal cloak inner fender well liners. We've got different bump stops on. We've got a lot of cutting that's been done. I've cut down the rock sliders. We've done a bunch of different stuff on this. And if you guys want more detailed info on what's actually done to this, go check out some of my past videos. We just recently got done setting the world record for the Rubicon 392 quarter mile. That was at 12.84 seconds at a trap speed of over 100 miles an hour. So extremely impressed with what this thing has been able to do so far. I've got the Diablo Sport Trinity tune on it with a custom tune from SSI, and it's been working extremely well. Of course, we've got a custom exhaust too, so that's why it sounds a little bit different. But I absolutely love this Jeep, and it is honestly my favorite vehicle I've ever owned so far. With all that being said, these things are not cheap. Whenever I ordered it over a year before it was actually going to come in, I ordered it with all zeros, so it had no price actually associated with it, and I was just hoping I was going to be able to afford it. Lo and behold, the price ended up coming out to somewhere around $78,000, $79,000 for the MSRP, and they've actually gotten much more expensive here recently. At that time, I had a Jaguar XE and a Jaguar F-Pace that I needed to trade in to be able to get this machine, so I traded both in. I had negative equity on one, and I needed to put $10,000 down for the bank to be able to finance me on this. So I ended up being right at $88,000, $87,000 completely out the door. I put $10,000 down and financed around $77,000 on this machine. Now, I don't recommend anyone financing a vehicle on a longer term if you do plan on keeping it. Typically, interest rates are quite a bit higher for the longer term that you go, and your payback is just going to be so much more. Now for this, the rate difference at the time between 60 months and 84 months was like half a point. So I ended up getting 3.39 on 84 months. I couldn't justify paying it on 60 months for the half a point better. It just made sense at the time. But my total monthly payment is $1,038 a month. So out of all these cars, what is your favorite car?
This one.
Which one sounds better?
This one.
This one? Does that sound good?
Yeah. More.
More?
Yeah.
Now to go over insurance right now is actually pretty cheap. I don't have a motorcycle, so I'm right at $350 a month to cover all three for two people. That covers my girlfriend as well. And then to factor in gas, that's probably somewhere right around $500 a month at least, as long as I don't drive this thing too awful much. The Defender doesn't get good fuel economy either, but the Camaro's my daily, so that one gets most of the miles out of the group. But the Defender's still really bad on gas, and whenever I do take out the Jeep, especially for just videos for an off day, I mean, if you make one full video with this Rubicon 392, it costs you $70 because you're going to run out of gas within 200 miles. So right around $500 a month is probably a safe range to estimate what gas was. So if we just add the monthly payments together on the cars, that puts me at $2,381 a month just in payments on cars. If we add in the gas and the insurance as well, that's going to put me at $3,232. Now, that's not an awful amount to pay for the vehicles that I have, but you got to keep in mind that's with really good credit too. So if you have bad credit, it's going to be way more expensive. It could even be close to double the cost of that if you have bad credit. Good credit really does help. That's something I was able to learn early working in the car business. The biggest thing is really just establishing yourself with credit and climbing up that ladder, buying more and more expensive vehicles if that's what you desire, because that gives you access to more expensive vehicles later on. Well, that pretty much sums up the cost on these 3 vehicles. I hope those of you that were interested found it helpful. That way you know what to expect if you're looking to buy a vehicle like this. If you guys haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. And until then, Godspeed.